Welcome to Rauta and Metal Mayhem Mariehamn. This is the first time for a festival here in Åland, or like we say in Finland, Ahvenanmaa, a small archipelago region, which is not too common with, metal fest and metal events. However, this time, first time for everything, Metal Mayhem, and we have something very, very special from Sweden, Unpure, and now we go back all the way to early 90s. This is not for the new school kids, but you should probably learn a thing or two from these veterans. First of all, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And please state your name. Who are you and why are you here with me?
Yeah, I'm Krille from Unpure, and I've been doing this band since 91. And that's basically who I am. And I've not been doing much else in my life.
Now, Unpure's music is technically speaking, either you call it black thrash or just first wave of black metal, because you are so old school with your music that you could say like the next step after Bathory and all. And since you have been around since very, very early 90s, when did you decide that you're going to do this kind of music?
I don't know. It just, I don't know, actually. We didn't decide. It just came about. Development from metal in general. And then we touched about around the death metal in the beginning, and then just went into black metal in the early 90s. There was a lot of black metal happening, Norway and all this. Got quite influenced by this. Also from Finland, for example. A lot of Finnish bands that influenced us. So that's, we kind of drifted into black metal. I think it's also a lot of the lyrics that made it black metal, because if you listen to the early stuff of Unpure, it's just a lot of other influences, which is not black metal per se, I would say.
Now, obviously, we know it. We have been around for enough time, but I guess nowadays kids don't necessarily know, but a lot of bands did already death metal in the late 80s before shifting to black metal in the 90s, and that this was Norway, Finland, Sweden, obviously all the Nordic countries pretty much did that too. But what kind of stuff you played before Unpure? I mean, if we go a little bit expanding your death metal background before shifting into black metal, which kind of music you would, or bands you would compare it to?
I mean, we started as heavy metal, and I played in other bands before Unpure, which was basically heavy metal bands, and it just came by itself. There was no determination for this, but it just appeared like that. I don't know.
How would you compare these days to the, say, early 90s in the terms of scene developing? I mean, even bands which are now big like Marduk were basically virtually unknown back when you started. So how are things different in your opinion now that you've seen the scene quite a bit?
Yeah, I mean, the scene is more visible now. I mean, it's bigger and it's popular. I mean, it's a lot. The scene is big. Back then in the 90s, it was not that big. You just wrote letters to each other, and it was basically demos. Few albums out, so this is the big difference. And now it's more common thing. I say like this. In the beginning, it was really difficult. You were not accepted by people around. This is, I would say, the big difference. The music is, it's just the same, I would say. With, of course, developed.
How much your mindset has changed? I mean, people even in the metal has matured. Whatever you wrote as an adolescent or teenager obviously changed when you come to your 30s, 40s, 50s, whatever. How is different for you through these decades of music?
For me, it's not a big difference, because I always try to go back to the same raw feeling that I always had when I write music, and the vision of Unpure, and it's been always the same. That's why we don't develop very much. We actually, when we are always looking backwards when we're try to get this old raw hunger in the music and lyrics, of course. So for us, it's not a big difference. It's just that we are older people.
Older still doing the same.
Yes.
Talking about the name, it's very fitting and very kind of describing. But how did you came up with such a name, which is very fitting for a lot of other styles in metal? Unpure, it can mean a lot of things, but most of all, what does it mean to you?
It means the filth of humankind. Even it's not even proper. It should be, the word itself is not right.
Yeah, it's like a perverted version in a way.
Yeah. So this is just representing what we are trying to build with the music.
We're talking of which, you have only 5 albums out throughout the decades, which seems quite a little when you compare to bands like, say, Marduk forever, like being around as many years, roughly, give or take.
Right.
But I noticed that you have had quite a bit of lineup problems in the past and changes.
Yeah.
But is there more to this story than just people coming and going?
Yeah, of course. We never been a band that really trying to reach the top or something like that. We just take it as it comes. That's the biggest reason why we're not so productive. I mean, writing music, we have a lot of music that have never been released or anything. This is not the problem. It's just that we don't just follow the commercial way, let's say like this. We have never been, trying to get a big band or anything. So just do as we want to. And the biggest part of this is, of course, member problems, that people quit. So that's why we have been kind of dead for many years. Trying to find new members, which is not always, you need the right persons. And this has been a big issue, of course. But otherwise, we're not trying to become a big commercial band or whatever. Just mellow.
So, take 3. Talking about your music and talking about how things have not really changed, and obviously as a creator of music, songwriter, certain ideas often go into the trash bin.
Yeah.
How much these ideas you have to kind of force in that it sounds like Unpure rather than something else?
Yeah, it's not the ideas that I have to force. It's just I'm forcing myself to get in the same mood that I always been when writing the Unpure stuff. It's trying to find the same flame, the hunger inside that I had when I started the band. And this is what I'm always trying to do, trying to find this way of thinking and feeling for what I'm writing. So I don't have to force much else. Just this is the basic thing. And I've been doing this for 30 years, so it's quite easy.
So you already know what you're after.
Yeah. So I know I just put myself in that mode, and then it's all good.
Well, talking about lyrics then again, how would you summarize, describe what is a typical Unpure lyric or a set of lyrics for the audience?
Yeah, okay. It's a very... I try to put the lyrics in a very, typical metal lyrics, but at the same time I'm trying to fill them with a lot of meaning, with references and metaphors, and everything. Trying to build in a lot of things in one sentence. This is a typical Unpure lyrics for today. When you read them, listen to it, it should be a very metal style. This is very important to me. Then I thinking about old Judas Priest lyrics or something like that, trying to put myself in that line.
Is it equally, like you mentioned, you're going back to your younger mindset?
Yeah.
Is it easy to get that kind of
Yeah.
I'm the teenagers, I know I'm like 50, but
Yeah.
Is it easy to get into that, okay, let's write like a teenager?
Yes, it is. I know how to push myself to that too, in this mood. So there is not a problem at all. I mean, just need to do certain things, and then I'm there.
What are the typical topics you really like to write about? Are there certain like topics like these are my favorite ones?
The end of the world, for example. This is I'm fascinated by.
Why it's so fascinating?
And I don't know, because it's I don't know. It's just a fascination, and yeah, I mean it's a big secret or whatever, and trying to find different ways to get there. I don't know. I mean, the last album is just about. The whole album is about ending the world, or existence in itself.
Now, this is a little bit of a funny question, but do you have a favorite way to end the world? If you could choose out of many options, like which way to end it?
Total chaos.
Total chaos.
Yes.
What would it include then?
Panic, chaos, everything that's to kill all the calm that we feel in life, and to end everything that we have. This is, yeah.
Now our generation hasn't obviously seen any kind of real threats like World War II to our lives and all, but COVID had a little bit of a different vibe, like let's put everything in chaos and stop the real world. Was it a blessing or curse for people like you?
I would say it's the only just, I like to, I don't know, I mean, I would blessing or curse. No, just observer. Let's say like this. I mean, and I have to say that we have been experiencing a lot of things in our existence, also like natural disasters and pandemic shit. So I would say that we are living in very interesting times, and I like to be there observing it. This is what triggers me to write also.
Well, it gives certain ideas for you, like, okay, shit is happening, let's write about it.
Yeah.
Now, talking about lives, I mean, when we had the pandemic, obviously, live music was suddenly pretty much dead for at least a year or two in some cases, which brings me to the next question. Is Unpure more of a album band or a live band?
Album band, I would say.
Why so?
We have not been playing much live, and we're not very into that. We've never been. Now we are a bit more because we have different members that like playing live, and so of course it's different. But normally, for me, the big thing is writing. This is what I like, and rehearsing, playing it together in a band. This is cool. For the rest, I would say in a perfect world, I would just write the music and don't play it at all.
Not live at all.
No,
I mean, it makes
not even
sense.
play on the records.
All right.
Just writing.
Do you have certain, say, memories or certain eras in the band's existence that are your favorite ones? Like, this is where I did the best work. Or is it yet to come?
Yet to come. Always. But I would say the last album is, I think it's highlight. But I mean, it's always like that. I'm trying to reach the next level all the time. So it's yet to come. Definitely.
Now, you mentioned also these older bands like heavy metal, and you mentioned Judas Priest and all that stuff. Do you have some other active projects where you kind of can put the ideas that don't really fit on Unpure? Can you like make them happen in other bands?
I don't have any other projects, not at all. I've been trying to in the past because I have a lot of other ideas that would fit in other bands, but I never came to that. I'm putting all my energy on Unpure. Always did, and I will probably always do.
So now, given that your lineup has changed over the years, has it changed how you write music, or do you share ideas with one another, or are you just like the evil, mean boss who just like, this doesn't fit here, or how it goes?
No. I still write all the music, but we are arranging everything together. I only write the basic raw material, and then we arrange it together. And for me, it's very important that everyone put their personality into the songs and what they are playing. So for me, it's really important that we are a band. This is always been with Unpure.
Not a solo project, but a real band.
Yeah, definitely. And it's very important that we all put there everything.
Now I'm going to have a question in two parts.
Yeah.
What's the best thing in playing in a band, making music and all?
Well, just putting the ideas together and putting into a mass, let's say like this. And this is when it comes together and makes something special. When the energy goes up, this is the best. Being in a band.
Now you can pretty much guess the coming next question. What is the worst part of playing in a band?
When people loosen their energy. This is a difficult part. When they don't want to do it anymore or whatever, it's a hard part. Because you loosen a bit of yourself. Because you're living in a band as an entity. And when someone drops, it's a wound.
Yeah.
This is the worst.
Getting back to the live situations, you mentioned that you haven't done really too much live, but over the years, obviously more and more has happened and more is yet to come, I guess. Any favorite places or events which are really something that this is something that I'm going to take to my grave? Like certain experiences that made it much more than, a simple gig.
Yeah, I mentioned before that we were playing in Finland. It was the best. There was the first country we played outside Sweden, and that was a big experience. And we had a good time. Let's say like this. It was violent and
booze-filled, I can guess.
Sometimes, but it was a very wild, chaotic, and that was really. That made me want to do more gigs. It was a good start. So this is very important. And then we went to Finland a second time, and it was the same. Playing in a small bar or whatever, and it was totally wild. It was somewhere in the middle of Finland, and everyone was wild. That made me realize that I wanted to do gigs. Playing when we got together again with the new members, that was a big thing also. That made the band more active again. And I always gave up the hope of doing anything again, but this was a big part. That's when I felt it was something really turned around and made it important.
Have you ever made like big plans, like after this album we're gonna go there, or after this gig or tour or whatever we're gonna do a new album, or do you just go with the flow?
Go with the flow. Yeah, of course. This is what we've always been doing. This is very important because I don't want to force anything with the band. For the members or the band itself, I think it's kind of bad for a band to do that. So we've never been forcing it. Of course, we have ideas, naturally. Like now we're having ideas of recording a new album and everything. But I'm not going to force anything.
It seems to happen in a lot of bands that started as small underground bands. When they grew bigger, then more money and success and all that shit started to come into play, and then started drama and things become more either commercialized and the music changes and all that stuff. But I guess you have really dodged that bullet, being relatively small and still in the underground. So do you think it's a blessing for guys like you, bands like you, which never, like you said, never made it for the money, never made it for the success? So has it actually helped you to keep true to your own style, that it's been kind of a...
I don't know the difference, but probably, yeah. Because I've never been forced to do anything that I really don't want to do. So of course, it made me stay in the same, with the same, as I talked about, the same old hunger and what we have experienced since the beginning. It definitely made me stay there.
But
I'm
you have
sure about
had
it.
members who have been playing or still play in bigger bands, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah.
Has that affected your so-called band chemistry in terms of like?
No, because these are the people who are with the same style and hunger that fits in Unpure. Anyway, they're burning for what they are doing. So yeah, no, that doesn't make a difference at all. Not at all.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, assuming there are some new fans on the other side of camera and all, if I get to pick you for like a couple of songs, which they should start with while diving into the world of Unpure, got any favorites or recommendations which should they start with?
Okay. Yeah, well, I would say from the early days, I would say a song like To the Asians from the first album is a really representative for what we're still doing. And it's a very easy song to understand. The lyrics are simple, very simple, and and this is what the hunger is about. And I would say Never in Gold from the World Collapse, I would say it's an important song to start with for many reasons. I mean, that's, and I would say listen to the new album, the latest album, because it's a collection of songs that were written since 93, and the last one was written 19, I think. So that's how you see how everything fits together, new and old songs. Which sounds basically the same. So I mean, that would be a good start.
And how is Unpure going to be live in your description? Chaos.
Well, sound-wise.
Any thoughts for the wise on the other side of camera? What would you tell to your younger version about, hey, I want to play in a band, I want to play black metal and all? What would you tell to this?
Don't do it.
Don't do it. That's a ongoing topic which we have here a lot going on with the artist. So think twice before jumping onto the ship and all. Now I want to thank you for your time.
Thank
it was a pleasure, Krille. Now I will get to see Unpure hopefully for the second time and hopefully in the future as well. And stay tuned for what these guys are up to. And if I got you interested and he got you interested in the band, check out the links provided in the description box for the band's music and social media and whatever, so you might not miss a gig when they come anywhere near you. So thank you, dear audience, and see you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you for your
Thank you
time,
very much.
and sorry for this technical hassle. These are sometimes very unexpected. Before you go, let's take a quick photo for Instagram, which I will post when this goes out.